Let's take you through the starting grid for the Minimax pre-final. On pole position, it will be Jacob Ashcroft, who led the ranking after heats after yesterday's 3 races. Albert Friend, who took the victory in the final heat, lines up alongside on the front row. It's a top 3 British lockout, courtesy of Cole Denham from Dan Holland Racing, the 162, who starts on the inside of row 2. And we'll have Estonia's Nikita Lubimov alongside. Lucas Dorder and Denny Babacek will run at row 3. Max Endicott and Philippe Perez, row 4, with Rory Armstrong and Jakub Kubera rounding at the top 10. Oliver Warner and Patrikias Dokius round at row 6, with Maxime Bobrishov joined by Angelina Simons Torres on row 7. Christian Segerson and Charles Kitely rounding out row 8. Row 9, it's Kai Clark and Adrien Stions completing the top 20. It's Alexander Van Meeuwen and Sigurd Stubberud Fredriksson. Completing the 31-strong grid is Bram van der Beken, Ryan Rivers, Vic van Kampenhout, Len Abbas, Andreas Jalla, Ryan Gandor, Isaac Barker, Jeffrey Beek, Vita Kubera, Kieran Stewart, and last but by certainly no means least from Finland, the 114 of Unto Olavi Lakonen. So the drivers go on to their official formation lap. So the confirmed results from every one of the pre-finals today will set the respective grids for the finals, which will start at 2 p.m. local time this afternoon here in Belgium. So for you, those watching in the UK, it will be 1 p.m, so round about lunchtime. So now Jacob Ashcroft and Albert Friend starting to slow the field into the 2x2 rolling start formation. The red lights are on the starting gantry. The time is set at 11 minutes plus an additional lap. Drivers slowly make their way through the 12th and final corner into the tram lines. Revs rise. Are we ready? Are we steady? The Minimax pre-final gets started right now. And a good start from the pole sitter, being followed by Cole Denham. Albert Friend round the outside at the moment. And it's going to get a bit tetchy going through into turn 3 for the first time. But everyone at the moment is trying to make it through. They have successfully navigated it. And at the front of the field, it is actually Cole Denham, as someone went very, very wide. They look to be Lucas Dorder from Belgium in the 197. We've got one going off. That's Alexander Van Meeuwen. Someone was backwards off of turn number 6 on the Europlan and pointing the wrong way and has rejoined the field. More scrapping a little bit further down the order, around about the lower part of the top 10. 2, 3 wide coming through out of turn 9 into turn 10 at Cafe Corner. Jokius, I think they're from Lithuania, having a bit of a send session through into turn number 10, as now with Jacob Ashcroft, who was down to 4th after the start, now overtakes Albert Friend through turn 12. And there is the 108, and that is Ryan Gandor from Canada. So unfortunately, the youngster from KR Sports might have been caught up in a slight incident. There are yellow flags at the marshal post just off of turn 10. Denny Babacek battling away with the likes of Philippe Perez, Kai Clark. Some drivers making their way through into turn 7, as now Ashcroft goes for the lead through turn 8 on Cole Denham and gets it. And also there is Jakub Kubera, who's just got past Albert Friend through turn number 9. So the Czech Republic driver now up into 4th position. Rory Armstrong, who in race 2 yesterday had a valve caught and ran with a puncture and still managed to finish in the top 15, but was given subsequently found that his front fairing was out of position and ended up dropping to the back end of the field after a Herculean defensive drive, as now Albert Friend and Jakub Kubera both tried to get past Rory Armstrong, and they do so. So Kubera up to third, Friend up to fourth, Armstrong down to fifth place. Charles Kitely is currently on the move. He's 12th behind Felipe Days, followed by Len Abbas, Lucas Sorder and Maxim Bobrishov from Belgium and the UAE, respectively. But Jakub Kubera seems to have a lot of speed with that Sodi kart, a lot of waft from the 129, and is closing on Cole Denham for second position. How's about this for a surprise? And also just noticed that Charles Kitely has just been hit with a 3-second time penalty for 2 wheels out of the tram lines on the start. Broke formation early before the red lights went out. At the minute, that could drop him considerably down the order, probably outside of the top 20, is the way things stand right now. So Jacob Ashcroft leads the way. His lead over Cole Denham last time around was just over a second, as around the outside of Denny Babacek tries to go Oliver Warner, but was unsuccessful. There's the battle for second, third, fourth and fifth, with Cole Denham leading that train. Jakub Kubera ahead of Albert Friend. Rory Armstrong now closing in on his Strawberry Racing teammate. Just behind them, you've got Nikita Lubimov and Kai Clark, Oliver Warner, Denny Babacek, and Max Endicott now round out the top 10. Ashcroft did have a second lead after 3 laps. Looks to expand on that as Albert Friend up the inside of Kubera. That's going to possibly open the door for Armstrong, and it does. Kubera tries to block the advances of the 166 from Northern Ireland, and they rub side wheels, and they rub side wheels again. But Rory Armstrong holds his ground, and despite the 2 rubbings of side walls respectively between the 2 drivers, Rory Armstrong holds his ground and his nerve and stays ahead of the 129. But that is allowing the 2 behind, Nikita Lubimov and Kai Clark, to close on in. Kubera looking towards the inside of the youngster from Downpatrick County down in Northern Ireland, gets through at turn 7. As Lubimov has to defend sternly through that same chicane in front of Kai Clark from the United Kingdom. 6 minutes and 10 seconds plus an additional lap still remains in this Mini Max pre-final. But Ashcroft's lead after lap 4 was 1.4 seconds. Now Albert Friend looking to go up the inside of Cole Denham through turn 12. He does get through. Rory Armstrong, I think, yes, has just got through on Jakub Kubera. And again, that's very close. It's a bit like Mansell and Senna back in the early 1990s, being literally millimetres apart. But Albert Friend now has the opportunity, with some clear air in front of him, to pull not just himself but also Cole Denham along to try and catch up with Jacob Ashcroft. But with 5 minutes and 30 seconds on the timer remaining, that's going to be a tall order. Nikita Lubimov gets passed by Kai Clark going into turn number 6. Fastest lap of the race is now the recovering Alexander Van Meeuwen, who, after his exit stage left coming out of turn number 6, is 26th at the moment, a 1 minute .124. We're getting close to that point where we will see lap times drop under 60 seconds as Denny Babacek looks for a late move up the inside of Nikita Lubimov, manages to use the curbing to try and pull alongside the Estonian. But then there's Max Endicott. And there's Felipe Days, also the 197 of Lucas Dorder. Endicott has to run wide coming out of turn number 2 to avoid any potential contact. With 4 minutes and 32 seconds still on the timer remaining, it's anyone's guess as to who's going to end up where. So with 4 minutes and 20 still to go, it's Ashcroft from Friend, Denham, Armstrong, Kubera, Clark, Lubimov, Babacek. But Babacek is now ahead of Lucas Dorder, who's made his way past the likes of Max Endicott, Felipe Days. Also, Oliver Warner is in that train as, oh no! off of the circuit. Oliver Warner has just gone spinning and done a 360. Coming out of turn number 11, he actually hit one of the tyres, holding one of the Rotax flags, coming out of turn number 11, and he was spinning the rear wheels up, and there he is, steam billowing from the rear tyres, trying to get that kart back onto the circuit. And he's trying to get that kart, and yeah, unfortunately, his race is done. Marshall has said, I don't think you're going anywhere, I'm afraid. It's a real shame for Warner, but I think he might have just got pushed out. But I didn't really catch what happened from the commentary position. Meanwhile, Albie Friend has pulled away from Cole Denham, who's got Rory Armstrong and Jakub Kubera not too far behind him, with just over 3 minutes remaining on the timer. Armstrong waiting to bide his time. Could have been a little bit higher than 9th in the rankings had it not been for the puncture in heat number 2 yesterday. And Alexander Van Meeuwen again sets another fastest lap of the race. As all going into turn number 2. Cole Denham holds on to 3rd, and Jakub Kubera trying to go round the outside, and there's a little bit of sidewall rubbing between Armstrong and Cole Denham. That has allowed Kai Clark to capitalise over several drivers. Switchback move there from the 131 of Maxime Bobrishov on Charlie Kitely. Result, that was a bit of a wallop over the curbs for Kai Clark going through turn 7, but manages to keep a hold of the steering and point the kart in the right direction. Now it's all for themselves for what is going to be a pivotal battle for the inside of row number 2 for this afternoon's final. Ashcroft is away and clear. Doesn't need to worry about it. Denny Babacek up the inside of Jakub Kubera through the final corner. Angelina Simons-Torres takes the fastest lap at the moment. Just 9 1,000ths off of 60 seconds. As now again, and the thing is when you have 4 drivers squabbling for the same position, Armstrong has gotten through. Cole Denham was compromised. Not too sure if there might have been a little bit of an assist going through from Armstrong into the side of Denham from Lubimov. But now it's all starting, the accordion effect is happening. You can see 3 karts there. You've got Kai Clark, Cole Denham, as Kai Clark has no alternative but to go a little bit wider. And Lubimov goes up the inside, but Felipe Reyes capitalises. Jakub Kubera now getting through on Kai Clark. And the freight train is coming through turn number 9. 60 seconds on the timer to go. Max Endicott trying to get past Denny Babacek. He's got Maxime Bobrishov behind, along with the likes, well, he's got the likes of Angelina Simons-Torres. Jakub Kubera looking up the inside there of Lucas Torder going through the final corner. So 43 seconds still to go on the timer. We're going to have 2 more laps to go, including this one. And Alexander Van Meeuwen, the first driver, I think, to just go, well, he's one of 2 drivers, along with Ryan Rivers, to go underneath the 60-second bracket. Maxime Bobrishov trying to get through. That was on, I think, it's Alexander Van Meeuwen. Oh, drama there. Jakub Kubera sideways and into the side of Nikita Lubimov. That's allowed Lucas Torder to get through on the pair of them. As Ashcroft makes his way through turn number 9, Bobrishov battling away. That's one of the GKS karts, and that is Alexander Van Meeuwen. And along with him, looks like, I'm not too sure who that might be. Could that be Bran van der Weyken, possibly? A little bit further behind. And it is the 196 of Bran van der Weyken. So Alexander Van Meeuwen has managed to get through, and the last lap board is out, and Jacob Ashcroft already making his way through into turns 1 and 2. So is Albert Friend. Rory Armstrong rounds out the top 3. 4th, Cole Denham. 5th, Felipe Reyes. 6th, Lucas Torder. Jakub Kubera in 7th. Nikita Lubimov. Charles Kitely up to 9th, despite having a 3-second time penalty post-race for 2 wheels out of the tram lines on the start. He's got Kai Clark and Max Endicott, along with Adrian Stions, Denny Babacek, Maxime Bobrishov, as there is side-by-side between Kubera and Storder, and neither was willing to give an inch, neither was willing to take a mile, and they both rubbed a little bit against each other with side pod to side wall of tyre. Armstrong makes his way through turn number 10, but Jacob Ashcroft takes his 3rd win of the weekend The 122 from Western Supermare has been unchallenged. His closest competitor, Albert Friend, will take second and finishes nearly 2.8 seconds adrift. Rory Armstrong takes P3, a further 2.5 seconds behind. And then the swarm comes over across the start-finish line to take the checkered flag. Cole Denham and Felipe Days round out the top 5 positions. Jakub Kubera, Nikita Lubimov, Lucas Tordeur, Charles Kitely, Kai Clark, Max Endicott, Adrian Stions, Maxim Bobrishov, Denny Babacek, Angelina Simons-Torres round out the top 15. Sigurd Stubberup Fredriksson, Alexander Van Meeuwen, Bran van der Weyken, Vic van Kampenhout and Ryan Rivers ran out the top 20. Isaac Barker, Christian Segerson, Patrikas Jokius from Lithuania, Len Abbas, Jeff Verbeek, Vitek Kubera. Then we got Andreas Jarup and Unto Olavi Lakonen. Kieran Stewart being the last of the 29 classified finishers. Oliver Warner, we unfortunately lost through an incident out of turn number 11 on lap 6, and Ryan Gandor out at turn 10 on the opening lap. So waves to the camera from the youngest competitors and their mechanics on the starting grid ahead of our first of 5 pre-finals. Maxim Bobrishov trying to warm up, normally used to the climate in the United Arab Emirates, so trying to keep warm as the drivers then headed out onto the 1,360 metre circuit here at Karting Genk. As always, the starts from the Minimax drivers have been nothing short of exemplary, especially with the formation, as they came through the tram lines, and there was the moment where Charles Kitely broke formation before the red lights went out. Jacob Ashcroft would lead the field into turns 1 and 2. Albert Friend, Nikita Lubimov will be around the outside, but a mistake from Ashcroft allowed Cole Denham to get through. There was Alexander Van Meeuwen coming out of turn number 6, doing a bit of grass tracking, and managed to rejoin the circuit. And then there was this moment. This is for Ryan Gandor from KR Sport, the young Canadian, out of turn number 10. And steam coming from the tyres on the 108 chassis. Then Albert Friend decided to get one up on Jakub Kubera and allowed the opportunity for Rory Armstrong to come through. But then the Czech Republic driver and the youngster from Northern Ireland would start clashing with sidewalls. There was the first time of it happening, and then another time heading into the braking zone. Smoke rising from both respective tyres that were rubbing against each other, but Armstrong held his ground. Then Albert Friend would make his move up the inside of Cole Denham. That would be for second on the road, whilst Jacob Ashcroft was cantering away into the distance. And then again, it was nearly a repeat, but this time it was Rory Armstrong to the outside, Kubera to the inside. Max Endicott would make his way through on Lucas Tordeur through turn number 12, using the assistance of space to get through, and then Felipe Days would also get through on the Belgian going through. There was Oliver Warner after spinning out 360, hitting one of the tyres, spinning the rear wheels in frustration, trying to get out of the kart, and the marshal said, "Unfortunately, your race is not continuing." Then we had this battle. This was between Rory Armstrong and Cole Denham, with Kai Clark from Dan Honda Racing not too far behind. And then a little bit of a touch here as everything started to concertina. Sometimes with those kind of incidents, it's difficult to tell who was at fault. And it was 4 karts in a row, all squabbling for what would eventually be third position for Rory Armstrong as Kai Clark looked up the inside of Cole Denham going through turn number 4. And then coming through turn 7, Kai Clark would then lose one position, well, at least a couple of positions, with Nikita Lubimov close to him on the inside. A bit of a sidewall contact between the pair allowed the Netherlands' Felipe Days to get through, along with the likes of the recovering Lucas Tordeur and Jakub Kubera from the Czech Republic. Kubera would then also go through on Tordeur and then go sideways into Nikita Lubimov, get a touch from behind courtesy of Tordeur as it was 3 wide coming out of turn number 6. Also sideways again for Kubera, this time on the inside of Lucas Dorder. That was from the where we saw Lucas Dorder having to avoid when turned right, but it was Jacob Ashcroft who picked up his third win out of 4 this weekend, which provisionally puts him on pole for the final this afternoon.